Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. You are watching a review video on BurgerTime World Tour. So what actually is BurgerTime World Tour? Well, if you want to know more about the game, you kind of have to go back to 1982 when a game called BurgerTime was released. So the game's core functionality is very simple, and that carries over to BurgerTime World Tour as well, where the goal is also to build burgers and avoid enemies. So what differentiates this game from the 1982 arcade classic? Well, let's take a look. So the first thing I want to go over is single player, because that is the biggest part of the game. It is the core functionality. It is what most people will be playing on. So what does single player bring to the game exactly? Why do you want to spend your hard-earned points on this game? Well, I will make it as simple as I can put it. If you're a longtime fan of the arcade classic and you're looking for some nostalgia and you don't want to go play the original arcade game, then you might enjoy this. It's a very simple game, though it does have its challenges, and even hardcore gamers will find it difficult at points. There are also points where you'll also find it frustrating. As for example, sometimes when you want to knock out an enemy, pick them up and then throw them, the Y button doesn't always grab them. Sometimes you are just off to the left or to the right, and it prevents you from grabbing them. So you have to move a little bit to left or right and grab them. So that can be kind of annoying, to be honest. One of the things that actually sticks out for me with this game is the level design. You would think as a platformer, the levels would be different, definitely, but still, very two-dimensional. It's not the case with this game, as it actually wraps around the level. As you progress through the game, the levels will get increasingly difficult and actually increasingly larger. And so, the farther you get into the game, the more they wrap around the environment. Early on in the game, they'll wrap around, maybe a little bit, but further on, it'll wrap the entire environment, and so basically, you are operating in a circle. And it's actually kind of fun, though there are some annoyances, such as some of the boss battles. They have weapons that will fire, and they will also wrap around the environment. It's like they're heat-seeking missiles of some sort. So, that's a little bit annoying, but once you figure out the timing of some of these attacks, you start to figure out when the best time to jump, when's the best time to hide. And so it doesn't become as annoying, but early on, you may get frustrated. Also, another annoying thing I found was spawn points. The spawn points for enemies are quite static, so if you kill an enemy at its spawn point, and you stand there for a second, he will spawn again. So, the spawn points are not dynamic, which I think would have been an excellent addition to this game, because with the static spawn points, it does lose some of the coolness factor that they've created with this game. I do have to say some of the funnest things are definitely, obviously, building the burgers. I mean, can't go wrong. I wish, when I built a burger, it would actually spit out a cheeseburger out of my Xbox. That would be nirvana for me. Unfortunately, that is currently not supported by the game or the Xbox. Another thing about the game is the checkpoints. While there are many checkpoints throughout the levels, I never really understood what they were until I started respawning. Now, I have gone through the help and tutorial, and I did not see anything about checkpoints, so I kind of had to figure it out on my own. But if you see the little stands around, and if you walk over one, and it does some glittery magic, you have hit a spawn point. Just don't hit a spawn point on the ground, because then you'll have to start all over again and have to climb all the way up, and I can't tell you how many times that frustrated me. Now, one thing about the boss battles is, at least the first one I played, I only actually played one boss battle. But the boss battle I did play, there was no real indication of what the bottom bar was. It said I had to make some burgers, and it said I had to make an unlimited amount. And honestly, I kind of freaked out, because there was no real instruction on what I had to do. It was not only until I killed a couple burgers, well, not killed, but created a couple burgers, that I started to figure out that the bottom bar was a health bar. So once I figured that out, it became a lot easier to understand. I only wish that they would have told you, you have to make 3 burgers, or you have to make 4 burgers to beat this boss. Instead, they put a little unlimited sign, thinking that you'd have to make burger after burger after burger. So that was a little annoying and confusing at first. And one thing I do have to touch on when it comes to single player, there are some really, really fun missions, and there are some really, really annoying missions. One of the missions I loved, and I played a couple times just because I loved it so much, was the mission where you had jetpacks and you had to jetpack all over the place. It actually kind of reminded me of Worms. In the game Worms, you had jetpacks and you could jetpack around the levels, and when I was playing that jetpack mission on this game, and jetpacking here and there and everywhere. I was having a blast. So I can't say if there are any additional jetpack missions in this game, as I only played through the first world because of time constraints. If I found out there were more like that, I would absolutely play through the game to the end just to find those missions and play them. I loved that so much. And I'm sorry to say about multiplayer, I couldn't actually test it. I tried to do quick matches a couple nights, and I never was able to find anyone to play with. So I can't tell you, what it's like, what the replay value is of it, anything about it. All I can tell you is nobody was playing multiplayer the 2 different nights that I tried. From what I gather, multiplayer is basically the single player, except obviously more than one person. So that does actually sound like a lot of fun. And it does sound like something I would play with my friends if we were all hanging out together and we were playing some Xbox party games. So, maybe one day I'll be able to do that and report on what multiplayer is like. Or maybe one day I will get lucky and find someone online to play with. Hey Monkey Paw, if you're watching this, I would love to play multiplayer with you guys sometime so I could figure out, what it's like, how fun it is. So let me know, you guys. So on to the graphics. They're not bad. They're not breathtaking, but they're what you would expect from an arcade game. So I can't say anything bad about the graphics. I can't say anything good. They are what I've come to expect from arcade games, and it's honestly good enough for me. It's an arcade game, it's cheap, it's fun. You're not buying the game to see some impressive graphics. If you want that, obviously you're going to go buy Battlefield or Call of Duty. You're buying this really for one of 2 reasons, I would say. You enjoy these type of games, or you're a fan of the original game. So when it comes to the soundtrack, I'm going to be honest, I'm not a big fan of it. The main menu music and the game music is just too repetitive. I hear the same songs over and over, and to be honest, when I start up the game to take a look at it and prepare this review, I actually want to get past the main menu as fast as I can, just because that song has gotten into my head and is annoying me so much. So I would have really liked some, mix up on the music. Maybe create a loop of songs to go through the menu music instead of repeating the same one over and over again. One thing the soundtrack does bring to this game is a touch of retro. The soundtrack is really the only thing that sounds like it's from 1982. And that's not a bad thing at all. That is actually fine. I like 1982 music. I just wish they would have added more music from 1982. So, the replay value. Is it a game that you want to play over and over again? I'll be honest, this game really isn't aimed at me. I am not the gamer that they are looking for when they market this game out to people. I am the Skyrim, Battlefield, the Halo type of player. I don't really play these games that often. But I made myself play this, and I made myself enjoy it. And I actually do enjoy it. It is a fun game. However, if and when I beat the game, am I going to go back and start over? Single player? No, I don't think so. Now, if I had some friends over, I probably would. I can see this being a very fun game to play with a group of friends. I can see you dying and everyone laughing about it. But when I beat single player, I just don't see any advantage to play the game over again. It'll basically sit on my Xbox until I have some friends over and we all play the game. So that's about it. However, the time it takes you to beat the game should be significantly long. Each level does take a significant amount of time, and if you're anything like me, you will die often. So the length of time it takes you to beat the game should be fairly sufficient and should negate any worries about replay value. By the time you're done with the game, you'll probably be wanting to take a break. It's a challenging game. I beat one world and I was ready to take a break. So, how do I rate this game? Single player, lots of fun, minor glitches, very dull soundtrack. So, it's okay. Multiplayer, I can't honestly rate, unfortunately. I would love to come back and rate it if someone will set up a game and let me try out multiplayer. Monkey Paw, I'm looking at you. Look at the game. It looks great. It's nothing breathtaking, but it's a lot of fun, and the level design is very unique and original. So good job, you guys. Replay value. Single player, probably not so much, but it's going to take you a long time to beat the game. Multiplayer, local games with your friends, all having a Xbox party. Sure, definitely. I can see replay value being great on that. So, overall rating, I'm going to go with a 7 out of 10. And I think that's a fair rating. I'm giving it knocks for some minor things, and then the soundtrack. I'm not counting multiplayer in this rating at all, so it's not going to be a overall score of the entire game. It's just a score of, what I have seen. And what I've seen is good. And fun. If you enjoy these type of games, or you're a fan of the original game, definitely download it, give it a try. I think you'll have fun, and if you do download it, let me know. I'd love to play some multiplayer. Thanks for watching, guys. Hey, thanks for watching the video. If you found it informative and or entertaining, please click on the subscribe button to be notified of future video releases.